السلام عليكم. صباح الخير أو مساء الخير. السلام عليكم. Let's get started. We're going to wait for a few people and then inshallah we'll get started. السلام عليكم. أهلا هدى. أهلا وسهلا. أهلا أبيب. أهلا خواجة. ممتاز. So we're gonna wait for a few more minutes to get started. So you can just say Assalamu alaikum or marhaba, ahlan in the chat box. So I'll just start by placing my Arabic. There we go. Aziz, ahlan wa sahlan. Get your Arabic keyboards ready if you already downloaded them. If not, you can just like observe the Arabic script on the live chat. So I'm going to say Assalamu alaikum or marhaba while we're waiting for the others to join. Ahlan, Nicole. Ahlan. So I'll go Assalamu alaikum. Please be mindful that I'll be speaking slowly and articulating the sounds. So I would appreciate if you can be quite patient with me when I'm articulating the Arabic sounds and also send in instructions. Ahlan ya Samar. So Assalamu alaikum and then we say Ahlan أو مرحبا. Ahlan and marhaba. So let's see if we have a good number to begin. Yalla. ممتاز ممتاز ممتاز. جميل. All right. So أهلا وسهلا. Thank you so much for filling out the registration to join the live study sessions. I'll be sending you everything that we covered today, especially for those who have filled out the application or the registration form. I have contacted a large number of participants and sent them copies of what I'm sharing with you today. But if you haven't filled out the application, the registration form, just go ahead. You can find the link in the description box after we're done. You can fill that out. I'll be sending you copies of everything that we're covering today. Let's just begin. And I'm Ahlan, Ahlan. Ahlan Tahir. My voice is not feeling well today, so inshallah I'll be working hard on it. Ahlan. Okay, so let's get this started. Remember, basic learning approaches. We're not going to go sophisticated. You're going to do anything that you are able to do when you're not online, meaning you're not on a YouTube video, you have your notebooks, like I have here my notes and my pen. All I have to do is get a pen and paper, follow the live instructions and engage with the YouTube live chat. So if someone writes a word in Arabic, you can go back to all the live replay and look at those words and copy them on your notes. Then what you have to do is download the Arabic keyboard. If you haven't done that earlier, you can do it after because we have 5 free study live sessions. Hand copy. Arabic is really interesting to look at, but it's more impactful as a learner to trace the letters and look at the words and build that visual memory. So make sure that you hand copy the words we're learning, then replay the video or the chat to just practice further. Listen. I'll be speaking really slowly. So I'm looking at the chat and just reading the instructions again. I'll read the Arabic words really slowly, and I'd like you to make sure that you are pointing to the sounds you're not able to recognize. These sessions are not for native speakers of Arabic. They are for non-native speakers of Arabic. We as natives, we can recognize certain sounds like the ah, the qa, the kha, the gha. Those are deep, deep sounds. and we're quite familiar with them and also comfortable. We're used to saying them. Non-native speakers still learn how to recognize those sounds. So I'll be reading the words and then you have to point to those sounds in your notes. Basic learning strategies. Listen, read along to produce the language. If you don't produce the language, you're only watching YouTube videos without you repeating everything you hear, then you're not producing the language. Then it will be quite difficult to make sure that you are part of a conversation. Check the playlist. We have level 1, level 2, and also other extra resources for you to look at if you need to practice further. And of course, I'll be emailing you everything that we're covering today. Okay, let's look at the chat. أهلا محمد. أهلا فطري. أهلا. وعليكم السلام من boy فاطمة. أهلا فاطمة. شازية. وعليكم السلام. أهلا شازية. ممتاز. Like I was saying earlier, I already sent this copy to a large number of participants. If you haven't received an email from me with a copy of your 5-day Arabic word list, just expect one after this session. I'll be sending you a copy of this and then also a copy of 100 Arabic verbs that are quite common. I pulled this resource from a very great website I really admire. It's Twinkle. So I'll send you a link to that one. They have amazing printable resources. So this is not a paid promotion at all. I just found the resource. They gave me a free download of one of their worksheets. So I just included it here and I'll be sending you that as well with the link to where you can find similar resources. We'll look at 5 words a day here. يفعل, يكتب, يذهب, ينظر, يزور, and يأكل. Let's see. Here we go. How many of you can recognize these verbs before I begin to trace them? How many of you recognize these verbs? So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. يفعل, يكتب, يذهب, ينظر, يزور, يأكل. So what you have to do is follow the exact same order and then go like 1 and give me the English translation. And then I'll show you how you can learn these words. Yalla. Can you all hear me, right? نعم أهلا شازية. So يفعل, يفعل, يكتب, يذهب, ينظر, يزور, and يأكل. And I'm pausing at the end of verbs for a very good reason for non-native speakers, and I'll be explaining that in future classes. So I'm only pausing. I'm not saying يفعل, يكتب, يذهب, ينظر, يزور, because non-native speakers still learn how to recognize the U, which is short, and then the U, which is long. So if I say يفعل, they might write يفعلوا like this. So I'm trying to avoid that. So please write down the English translation of these verbs and then we'll begin forming sentences. What is the English translation of these verbs? Yalla yalla. Ahlan Miraj, Nicole. To write number 1, Nicole, or number 2 is to write? Keep the order so you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and do not enter your comment until you're done with the translation. So you go like 1, what is it, 2, and put them all together, then hit enter. يفعل. جميل جدا. Let's see if I can clear. Muhammad, he does, he's writing, he goes, he sees, he visits. Jade, Elsa. Mumtaz, Elsa, stay with us because we will show you how you can learn. If you're a novice learner, that means you have to learn the Arabic script. So we have a list of hold on, just a minute. Sorry, I'm going, so there we go. Novice learners need to know the Arabic alphabet. If you're not a novice learner, meaning you're a beginner, you have already acquired the Arabic script, then you should be good with us in this live. But if you're still a novice, please stay with us and look how I'm tracing the Arabic letters. ممتاز ممتاز ممتاز. جيد محمد, شكرا محمد. So يفعل, صحيح. يفعل is he does. And I'll write يفعل. And this is the present tense. يفعل. And like I explained earlier, I am pausing at the end for a good reason for beginners, because they need to just articulate the sounds and memorize the vocabulary. Any other grammatical ending, they will learn that in upper levels. يكتب. ممتاز. يكتب. زكية. What is يكتب? يكتب. He writes. ممتاز. And then I will write it again here, and I say يكتب. It will look way better on your notes because now I'm using just a digital pen. If you're writing it again, just go slowly, and then you go يك, K, not ق, يكتب. Be very patient when you're learning Arabic. It's one of the amazing skills you're going to acquire. يذهب. يذهب. Let's see. ممتاز. يذهب. He goes. And then I would say, yeah, I have to say it. يذ. يذ. يذهب. يذهب. And then I would go, يذهب again. The difficult sound here that you have to be careful with is the ha, which is H in English. We have two sounds in Arabic to refer to H. We say ha, which is the deep one, and ha, ha. So as I say Halloween in English, I would say Halloween. But I can't say Halloween. Definitely no, not. So the ha is the H over here, as honey in English, as Halloween, as home. But the ha is more of an Arabic sound that we don't have in English. ينظر. And I'm going slowly because I need everyone to use their notes. ينظر. ينظر. He sees, or he watches, or he looks, depending on the context. So like انظر, انظر, look, look. So I would say he looks. نظر, he looked as well. So let's stick to look better, so we can use ra'a as to see. So ينظر, he looks, and I write it again. ينظر. ينظر, he writes. He looks. يزور. يزور, he visits. There we go. And then I would write it again. يزور. 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 يزور, he visits. Then we have يأكل. يأكل. يأكل, he eats. يأكل. And again, one of the confusing sounds are, one of them is actually alif. Some students recognize alif as a because they can't produce the a sound as in ayn. Ayn. Let me just put this on here. Elsa, yes, the video will be saved. So just learn as we're writing. And if you missed any instructions or any practice, you can find the video after we're done with our study session. The study session hopefully will be for 30 minutes, so you can stick with us and then go back to the video. So here's the alif and the ayn. Ayn is one of the difficult sounds that beginners still practice. That way they can produce. So it's not a. So if I'm saying amal and I'm saying amal, which one is hope and which one is work? And we practiced in word games before how one letter can change the complete meaning of the word. So here we have ya'kul, ya'kul, the a. And then we also have the kaf and the qaf. So I'll just put qaf over here and put kaf over here, because K is quite soft. A is quite soft and easy to produce, so you'll find them in English. But the q, which is Q, and the a, you'll find it as an apostrophe, and then you'll find an A. Those are difficult sounds. As you're learning, make sure you recognize how complicated those sounds are. That way, if you hear them or you spot them in any script, you're able to practice those sounds. So let's go again. Here we go. يزور أهلا. كهيل ينظر جميل جدا. حمزة. شكرا جزيلا يا حمزة. So if you have the Arabic keyboard, you can do this two ways. Either you can type in them in the live chat or use your notes and write them down. I'll clear again and I'll practice one more time. And this time I'll go quick, just to be mindful of time. Hold on, just that. And I'll be saying them again one more time. Just a reminder, this is the present tense of هو, which is he. And verbs have the verb conjugation happening at the beginning. You see that? يفعل, يكتب. All of them have ya, 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 ya. Here you go, ya. And the ya is the verb conjugation, the prefix before any verb in the present tense. So يذهب, يأكل, يدرس. Any other verb you have here would include ya if you're talking about a person, a male person. So يفعل, I'll go faster. يفعل, he does. يكتب, يكتب. يذهب, here we go. ينظر, ينظر. And then يزور. And then we have يأكل. There we go. I'll go with the English translation again quickly. That way you can save this. So he does, he writes, he goes, and then he see, or let's say he looks, just to be mindful of other contexts. يزور, he visits. And then يأكل, he eats. These are verbs. أفعال, 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 أفعال. مرحبا, أهلا وسهلا من تركيا. جميل جدا. So here let's get to the other part of our study session. There we go. Shukran, Gohil. Gohil is a great contributor to the live chat. So shukran jazilan. The ayn, the kaf, the qaf, the alif. If you are a non-native Arabic speaker, you know exactly how this phase is quite difficult, but it's amazing. It's really a great psychological breakthrough because you get to transition to a whole different linguistic phase where you are recognizing your native language and you're producing a whole different set of sounds from another language. So new structures, new sentences, and new words, new sounds. Just be mindful of that transition. Try not to get in what I call it the learning anxiety, where you would panic, get frustrated. Don't worry about the mistakes that you're making. I make mistakes a million times. No matter what you're doing at this phase, what's more important is you pick a pen and paper. You devote 30 minutes of your day to write any Arabic word. I have stories. You can pick from any story you run into. If I have grammar books, I can just pick, again, random words from grammar books, and I have to write. Arabic is all about writing. So let's get to the second part. 5 Arabic sentences every day. Let's see how many of you can write a verb, like one of those verbs that we learned, in a sentence. Like, let's say, كتب, كتب. كتب. So I'll give you a moment to think about how you can form sentences. And everyone has a different level of Arabic. I'm sure all of you come from different backgrounds. Just be mindful of that level, of those diversity of levels. But let's get started and have 5 sentences with the verbs that we learned. 5 sentences. 5 جمل عربية. يلا. شكرا يا سام. شكرا. هو يكتب. كتبنا أنشودة. I can see. Let me see. كتبنا أنشودة مروعة. حمزة. جيد. I can't read the other one and the chat is quite small. يذهب 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 يذهب. أحمد. Great. Okay. Let's do this one right here before I get to show you the others. The other sentence I put is, let's do this one. Okay. So I'm going to say يكتب over here. Because it's he. Here we go. I have to say يكتب أحمد, or I can say أحمد يكتب. يكتب أحمد رسالة. Ahmed writes a letter. One of the ways you can always rely on is 2 or 3 word sentences. هو يكتب رسالة. I can say he is writing a letter. هو يكتب رسالة. هو يكتب كتاب أو قصة. Story. This is story. This is a letter, like a written letter. Or you want to say kitab. In the beginning level, you need to accumulate a great number of verbs and nouns. Then you have to remember the present tense. Verb conjugation, you can check the video that I shared a couple of weeks ago about how you can start conjugating Arabic verbs. Stick to the singular form first. Only you, masculine, you, feminine, I, he, and she. Only at the beginning level. Don't go to the other forms, which is the dual, the plural yet, because you need to master verb conjugation in the singular forms only. Only singular forms. I keep repeating that all the time to my students because they try to translate ideas from their native language or context from their native language. It's great to do that, but the structure of languages are quite different. So make sure you just follow those easy steps, which is verb, pronoun, or name, and then a noun. Like he writes a letter. She writes a book. I write, let's say, I write a word. أكتب كلمة. She writes a word. So I have a word, I have letter, I have book, I have story. All of these are nouns that I learned. And then I have he writes, she writes, I write, you write, and else, yeah, I write, you write, yeah, the two forms, which is masculine and feminine. أنا أكتب, أنت تكتب, أنت تكتبين, هو يكتب, هي تكتب. خلاص. That's all. And now, let's see. I'm going to look at the chat and see. يكتب في القرآن. خديجة كتبت رسالة لحبيبها. جميل جدا. So you see Hamza put the sentence in the past. That's great. خديجة كتبت رسالة لحبيبها. Khadija wrote a letter to her dear one. يكتب كتب جيدة. ممتاز. Robert. أهلا يا Robert. So we say يكتب كتب جيدة. That's a great example. And I'll tell you why I'm taking this example because I need you to be mindful of something that I've repeated in previous videos. يكتب كتب. كتب. يكتب كتب. He writes books. And again, I am placing the sukun over here because it's the beginning level, the ending or the grammatical structure of yaktubu kutuban or all of that. It's for other levels, not for beginners. So yaktub kutub, I can just put period over here. He writes books. The moment I decide to place an adjective over here, and this is about like upper beginner level where I would introduce this concept of adding adjectives to plural nouns. Because kutub is plural, kutub is books. Fun fact, it's a non-human plural. Non-human plurals in Arabic, they always take singular feminine adjectives. If you are one of my students or you have covered this with me before, remember, this is the non-human plural and I always go like NHP. If I want students to remember this, I go NHP, non-human plural. It takes singular feminine adjective. This is just an abbreviation that I put. Singular feminine adjective, meaning كتب جيدة, good books. Then جيدة would be feminine. كتب جيدة. That's why in the beginning level, we stick to the singular form until we are quite familiar and we master those singular forms, because kitab would be masculine. I would say good book, kitab جيد. And here I will write kitab جيد. كتاب جيد. If I'm moving fast, please be reminded that this video will be saved so you can go back to it and look at all of these templates. I sent this template to a lot of other people who filled out the registration form. You can print out this template as like postcards if you have a colorful print or you have colors. You can print out this as a flashcard and you can just stack up a list of daily Arabic words or daily Arabic sentences and you can just look at them. Always remember that in case there's no internet, you still have to study Arabic. In case you're not looking at YouTube, you have to go back and have that quiet time and avoid any distractions and then just study. Pen and paper, your flashcards, a book, that's all you need. So I'll write يكتب كتاب جيد. He writes a good book. يكتب كتاب جيد. And in this case, what I'm doing is I'm using kitab as masculine, which is مذكر, kitab, kitab, book. And the adjective is going to agree with it and it will be جيد. Once you're done with verbs, you have about, let's say you have 10 verbs, then you have learned 10 nouns, then go on and learn 10 adjectives. Place 10 sentences using different verbs, different nouns, and different adjectives. You can do that in 2 days. And the more you put those vocabulary in context, the more you ensure that you retain those words. They're not going to only be left behind in your notes, but you are actually memorizing them and remembering that you are, for instance, at a restaurant, you go like, I need a cup of water, and you say, أحتاج كأس ماء. Then think about the verb I need, think about كأس, cup or glass, and think about ماء, water. This is a phrase that you would need. Everybody needs to drink water. At least learn how to say, I need to drink water in Arabic. So it's one of those phrases that we always put out there for students because they use them all the time in their native language. I need water, I need to go to school, I need to go to work. Those phrases need to be translated in the language that you're learning. كتاب جيد. أهلا يا جهيل. Let's see. أنا أكتب كل يوم نيكول. ممتاز نيكول. جيد جيد جيد. أهلا أهلا. واو ممتاز يا نيكول. أنا أكتب كتاب. أنا أكتب كل يوم. I write every day. There we go. Let's see if I missed any other. I'm going to look at the chat right now and look at the sentences that you wrote. Oops. Because I have other sentences or جمل عربية that I'd like to share with you. جميل جميل جميل. Let's see. كتاب جيد يا جوهيل. نيكول saying أنا أكتب كل يوم. I write every day. ممتاز يا نيكول. I asked the participants to send me their notes. So if you do send me your notes and we do interact by email, Maybe you'll join one of my live sessions. You never know. I would love to have you like live with us if you're okay with it. That way we can practice together. You can read the sounds and we can learn together. So, Nicole, think about it. يلا. Let's see. Wasika, ahlan wa sahlan. 4 more sentences. I'll clear the board and I'll show you here the other ones that I have. Let me look at your sentences right now. أنت يفعل كان. Omarham said, I learned 2 words, يلا and خلاص. That's enough. That's great. جيد. That's enough. If you learn 2 words, that's perfect. Any amount of vocabulary, even 1 word a day. In English, they used to say a phrase like, 1 apple a day keeps the doctor away. 1 word a day keeps the teacher away. That's what I used to say. So كلمة واحدة باللغة العربية فقط كل يوم would be amazing إن شاء الله. ستكون مفيدة إن شاء الله. يلا. Sam Ahmed, I want to be part of your class too. أهلا يا Sam. Yes, you can email inshallah and you have to send your written notes. I need to look at your written notes and then we'll contact you inshallah. Send your written notes of how many sentences you wrote today and then the verbs you learned, the phrases you have acquired in different resources. I need to see the written notes. That's how I can help. I find Urdu very similar with Arabic. Correct. Urdu is quite similar when it comes to the Arabic script. All right, so let me read these sentences. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. أشرب قهوتي في الصباح قبل الذهاب إلى العمل. أستمتع بالكتابة خصوصاً كتابة القصص القصيرة. قررت تعلم كلمات جديدة كل صباح. علمتني والدتي الكتابة، القراءة، وحب اللغات. I'll read these sentences again 1 more time, then I'll ask you to practice something particular. Just stick with us. الجملة الأولى, the first sentence, أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. أشرب قهوتي في الصباح قبل الذهاب إلى العمل. أشرب قهوتي في الصباح قبل الذهاب إلى العمل. أستمتع بالكتابة خصوصاً كتابة القصص القصيرة. أستمتع بالكتابة خصوصاً كتابة القصص القصيرة. قررت تعلم كلمات جديدة كل صباح. قررت تعلم كلمات جديدة كل صباح. علمتني والدتي الكتابة والقراءة وحب اللغات. علمتني والدتي الكتابة والقراءة وحب اللغات. There we go. So let's see how many of you can recognize the translation of these 5 sentences. They're a little bit upper beginner level, so please don't get intimidated by the different gerund or nouns that I'm using. Like we have adrus to study, then we have dirasa. All the nouns of verbs or gerunds are highlighted in blue. But let's first translate them and see how many people are able to recognize the English translation. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. ما معنى هذا؟ ما معنى هذا؟ I'll send you some recommendations about the Arabic keyboard. I got a question that which Arabic keyboard shall I use? I think one says Ibrahim keyboard. That's the one I used before, but I'll look up a few. There are many on the App Store. All you have to do is look at the reviews and download the one that's convenient for you and for your device. Okay, so let's go back to the translation. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. ما معنى هذا؟ أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. يلا. Let's see. يلا يا شباب. I need an Arabic school institute. Okay. Someone to love, right? نعم, جميل. The verb is to love. Great, someone. Okay. If you ever come across a text that you don't recognize, it's so difficult, don't run away from it. Because when you feel there is that difficulty, take a screenshot of that text. Look at 2 words that you're able to recognize. Here, أحب. 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 جيد. You happy me? I like studying Arabic language. ممتاز. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. أحب اللغة العربية كثيرا. I love the Arabic language a lot. كثيرا. So you can say أحب اللغة العربية, and then you can use كثيرا for a lot. I'm trying to change the color because I'm not sure if it's visible to everyone, so I'll change this one. If anyone needs any special accommodations when it comes to learning and colors, please indicate that. So كثيرا would be lots, a lot. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. اللغة العربية. اللغة, the language, and العربية, Arabic language. أحب, I love, or I like. Take 2 words from this sentence. I like, and the Arabic language. And كثيرا, a lot. دراسة, I'll put this one over here, and I'll say, let me put purple. I like purple. دراسة is studying. The verb is أدرس. I study. But دراسة is noun. Because we have 2 verbs here, if we ever think of saying I love to study, it's going to be a whole different structure. And I'm not going to use the studying, I'll be using a verb. So I'm not going to confuse you by explaining that to you. If you see a verb and you see a noun like this, دراسة, كتابة, all of the blue highlighted ones are nouns that are derived from verbs. So you have اسم, and then you have فعل. So I'm only using the nouns here so you can recognize the pattern of nouns as well. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. Say it many times. أحب دراسة اللغة العربية. You say it, you'll hear yourself. Record yourself. ممتاز. Then we have أشرب قهوتي في الصباح. أشرب. I'm sure everyone uses this verb to drink. I drink my coffee. أشرب قهوتي. Then you learn how to say it, not only looking at it, but you're going أشرب قهوتي. أشرب قهوتي. أشرب قهوتي. Hear yourself. Say the language. في الصباح. And this is one of the techniques that I use with my students, is you read 2 words at a time. That way you acquire a speed or reading speed. Instead of going أشرب قهوتي, you go like أشرب قهوتي, I drink my coffee. أشرب قهوتي. في الصباح, in the morning. قبل, before. Going, الذهاب. إلى العمل, to work. So here you have to, work, and then you have going. Who can put the English translation of the second sentence? الجملة الثانية. ما هي ترجمة الجملة الثانية بالإنجليزية؟ ما هي ترجمة الجملة الثانية بالإنجليزية? What is the translation of the second sentence in English? يلا. I drink my coffee in the morning. شكرا إيرابور. ممتاز. Before going to work. قبل الذهاب إلى العمل. And then you would want to start, If you go like 2 words, قبل الذهاب, and then you go إلى العمل, and you feel confident you can actually read all 4 words together, you go قبل الذهاب إلى العمل, قبل الذهاب إلى العمل, قبل الذهاب إلى العمل. So keep doing it as 1 word, you move on to learning 2 words, reading them together, then you go to 4 words. قبل الذهاب إلى العمل, before going to work. I drink my coffee in the morning. ممتاز. جميل يا نيكول. جميل شازية وإيرابور. Now I'll let you figure out the 3rd, 4th, and 5th words. I'm teaching you how to learn. If you have no instructor with you, you come across text that's quite difficult, look at it. Find the words you can recognize. If you cannot recognize any of them, choose 2 words at least. Don't leave that text without picking 2 words. I do that with English all the time. I'm still learning English, and it's very challenging to run or come across words that I don't know. And sometimes I get lazy and I go like, it's okay, I'll learn that later. I have to make sure I learn those words. So let's go back to the 3 sentences we have left. And I think, oh, we spent 10 more minutes, but it's okay. We can get a little bit of practice with these 3. How many words can you recognize from these 3 sentences? ممتاز منين. How many words can you recognize? I'll read them again. Write the word in transliteration and then put the English translation right next to it. أستمتع بالكتابة خصوصا كتابة القصص القصيرة. So Robert, if you're still with us, this is the example of like good books and then like plural and singular form. So you have it here as well, and we'll translate in a bit. أستمتع بالكتابة خصوصا كتابة القصص القصيرة. I read that fast, I'll go slowly. أستمتع بالكتابة خصوصا كتابة القصص القصيرة. ممتاز. So you recognized book, chair. We don't have chair in that sentence. Try again. إلا مرحبا. أهلا Robert, you're still with us. Great. So أستمتع بالكتابة خصوصا كتابة القصص القصيرة. How many words, Arabic words, can you recognize from this sentence? The 3rd one. Let's see. Short stories. جميل جدا Robert. ممتاز. You recognize book. ممتاز. جميل. I know it has been more than 30 minutes. صحيح Moshe. I think we're gonna end the session in a bit. But I would like to give some time to everyone to just engage with the text. Especially Muhammad. جميل جدا. Especially. That would be خصوصا. صحيح. So short stories would be قصص قصيرة. جميل جدا. قصص قصيرة. خصوصا especially. And then كتابة. I listen. I'm glad you actually put that. I'm so happy you did, because this is quite a common verb that everyone would use, which is أستمع. Here, I think I'm going to get, hold on. I'm going to jump into the day 2. I'll just use the template. I'm not going to go to day 2. I'll just use the template. So here we have أستمتع and أستمع. I'll go back to the slide. Just stick with me. I need to explain this quickly. أستمع and أستمتع. They look quite similar, right? But there is one over here that changes the meaning. This is to listen, أستمع, and this is to enjoy. Isn't that fun? That is so much fun. Yes, only one letter can change. And in the beginning levels, most of the students, in most occasions that I came across these two, learners do confuse listen استمع with استمتع. The one you have to focus on is the T to make sure you're saying enjoy, you're not saying listen. So استمتع, استمتع, and then we have استمع. استمع إلى الموسيقى. أنا استمتع بالموسيقى. Let's say I want to say I listen to music, then I enjoy music. How am I going to make the difference between that? Because I have music and music in both of them. Just be spontaneous with your learning. You don't have to follow the exact same structure I'm introducing here. And again, we're still in day one. This is just a template. So I don't confuse any other learners here. So here, I want to use موسيقى as music, and I want to say I enjoy music. And I want to say أستمتع بالموسيقى. I enjoy music. أستمتع بالموسيقى. If I say أستمتع, it has to be. Enjoy something. Whatever that thing is needs to be attached to be. And this is collocation. And أستمع, I listen to. Even in English, you'd say to. Then I have to say أستمع إلى. إلى, which is to, does not need to be attached to the word. Whatever word you say, like أستمع إلى أمي, I listen to my mom. I listen to music. I listen to the teacher. Teacher, music, mom, which is موسيقى, أستاذ. أستمع إلى, the noun has to be separate, not attached to. Whereas if you're saying be, it has to be connected to the word, like I'm putting over here. So I would say أستمع إلى الموسيقى. I listen to music. أستمع إلى الموسيقى. So I'm glad you did actually say that, and I'll go back to the day one. Translation of the fourth and the fifth. Let's get that done so we can end our study session. Let's get that done and we can do that. يلا. قررت تعلم كلمات جديدة كل صباح. قررت. So this one is enjoy. This one drink. And this is love. Here I have قررت. And it's in a past tense. قررت. صحيح يا جوهل, we can say أستمع للموسيقى. لي as إلى, نفس same thing. صحيح. أو استمع للموسيقى. صحيح. قررت. What's قررت? يلا. Jose Garcia, the level 1 in the playlist, that's for novice learners. You can check that out in the playlist. It has all the steps for you to learn the script, all the way to forming sentences like the ones we're doing now. So let's see. قررت تعلم كلمات جديدة كل صباح. How many words can you recognize it in this sentence, which is the fourth one? And then if someone can also go to the fifth one, which is علمتني والدتي الكتابة القراءة وحب اللغات. قررت. جميل جدا جوهيل. شازية قررت. Great, Shazia. That's similar to I listen and I enjoy. قرأت. Sorry, moving away from the camera. قرأت. I read. قررت. What do you hear? What do you hear? قرأت and قررت. قرأت, I read. قررت, I have decided. قرأت قررت. قررت. واضح شباب؟ Okay. ممتاز. Word. جميل جدا. Here we go. We have word. تعلمت كلمات جديدة. كلمات. It's not one. كلمات جديدة. No, Sultan, you stay with us. Gori, even if you're a complete beginner, you can recognize the sounds. Be exposed to the script. Just stay with us and hear the sounds. And you can copy any words that you're able to trace. If you're a novice, complete novice, you don't know the Arabic script yet, same thing as I told Jose, is you can go back to the playlist and you'll find a complete course, free course from A to Z on how you can trace, write, articulate the sounds. جيد, new, ممتاز. So here, new, and then words, new words. And قررت, like Guhil said, I have decided. Nicole got new, and then someone said word, but it's words, كلمات. And كل صباح, every day. كل صباح. ممتاز Nicole, جميل جدا. The last one, and I'll be moving fast now, be mindful of time. علمتني والدتي. And these both of them are in the past tense. This is upper beginner level. So I'm trying to accommodate different levels here. This is upper beginner level, meaning you have already acquired the verbs and the structure of the sentence. You're learning the gerund and the plural, so you can go to the intermediate levels. So علمتني والدتي. علمتني والدتي. The live will be saved, inshallah. So علمتني والدتي. 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 والدتي, my mom. جميل. جيد. Royal Dental, ممتاز. New sentences. So علمتني والدتي would be my mother taught me. So I'll just clear this part over here. You can go back to our live, and if you have registered to receive my emails, I'll be sending you a copy of this one as well. So hopefully, inshallah, you have actually, some of you have received this copy ahead of time. Some haven't because you registered late, but I'll be sending the exact same copy. You print it out, keep it, add to it, and then use the exact same template. So here we go. علمتني, علمتني, taught me. Taught, like she taught me. My mother taught me. And here you have my mother. الكتابة, writing. القراءة, reading. And then حب, which is loving. حب اللغات. And here we have languages. اللغات. See, you learned اللغة over here, which is a language, which is Arabic language, but here اللغات. اللغات. What I would do is put a new list, and I would go singular, plural, and I would say لغة, and I'll go لغات. Then I say كلمة, كلمات. Then I say جديد, جديدة. So I can either go by singular, plural, or go by feminine, masculine, or go by verb and noun. Create your category in a way you can recognize your script. And that was wonderful. ممتاز. جميل جدا. Reading and the love of languages. جيد جيد جيد. ممتاز. جميل. I think we're done for today. Let's see how many of you are still with us, and I'd like to get thumbs up if you got quite a good set of vocabulary from our study sessions. This one, we have 4 more to go. So let's see. Thumbs up, yalla, yet. How many of you got at least 5 words from what we learned today? Yalla. ممتاز. يلا يلا. اللغات جميل جدا. And I love how Nicole is using both the Arabic and the English translation, meaning typing in both. That's an amazing skill. ممتاز. جيد شباب. I'm so happy you came with us. ممتاز. Got all. ممتاز. جيد. شكرا. 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 Let me go back again to what I was saying that I'll share with you. You have about 2 forms that I'll be sending in the email. If I haven't gotten your email in the application or the registration for the lives, because we have application for private tutoring sessions, which is different. Those are private group sessions that we have with a small group of students. They're not live on YouTube at all. But the live study session is this one, including the come-in for sessions. And you will receive a copy of this template where you can print it out. It's a PDF. Put the words that you learned today. And then look at the 100 common Arabic verbs that I got from Twinkle. And then you can trace the verb again over and over and over and put the English translation. Go do it as many times as you can. 5, 4 times, great. And then remember the basic learning steps. Pen and paper, live instructions. The live session will be recorded and saved. Of course, it is, inshallah, available for all of you. If you have any questions, you can email them. But I would love to get your handwritten notes. I love handwritten notes. So if you're able to send me your Arabic notes, just scan today's vocabulary and email it to info@arabickhatawat.com. And I'll see you inshallah غدا at 12 p.m. مع السلامة. And thank you so much for joining today. مع السلامة. Great.